Am I a suspect in her death? Should I be? I need to dump the gun at the bluff. I'll throw it into the river. They'll never find it. At first, he just seemed attached. Then that attachment turned into obsession. Emma Jane Walker woke up on a quiet October morning in 2016 beneath the soft golden light of autumn. She was 16 years old, with cheer practice ahead of her, little plans for the day, and an entire future waiting to unfold. She deserved the chance to live it. Across town at Maryville College, 18-year-old Riley Gall was awake too, but life no longer looked the same for him. He'd recently been kicked off the football team. No practices, no structure, just endless time alone with his thoughts and with the one person he couldn't let go of, Emma. They had been together for nearly 2 years. But Emma had ended the relationship, and for most people, that would have been the end. Breakups happen. People move on, but Riley didn't. As the weeks passed, something darker started growing beneath the surface. The distance between them didn't bring closure. It fueled something else entirely. By November 21st, 2016, only one of them would still be alive, while the other desperately tried to erase every trace of what happened. So, how did a teenage romance become a murder case? Emma Jane Walker was born to Jill and Mark Walker in Knoxville, Tennessee. From the moment she was born, her mother said Emma felt like a blessing she had always prayed for. She grew up in the Cherokee Hills neighborhood, quiet streets, close family, and big dreams. By high school, Emma stood out naturally. She wasn't loud or attention-seeking. People were simply drawn to her. She was beautiful, warm, funny, and deeply caring. But she was also strong-willed. She had standards, opinions, and a clear sense of who she was. Even at 14, Emma already knew what she wanted from life. She dreamed of becoming a neonatal intensive care nurse, caring for premature babies at East Tennessee Children's Hospital. It wasn't some vague childhood fantasy either. She spoke about it like she could already picture herself there one day. In 2014, Emma started at Central High School as a freshman and immediately made the cheerleading squad, the only freshman that year to do it. Friends remembered her as hardworking, loyal, and full of life. She loved animals, especially dogs, and if it were up to her, she probably would have filled the house with them. That was Emma's world when she met Riley Gall. Riley was a junior at Central High, a football player wearing number 8. To most people, he seemed normal, maybe even a little nerdy underneath the athlete image. He played video games, joked around with friends, and at first, Emma's parents liked him. Jill Walker later described him as polite, respectful, and easy to be around. Mark Walker felt the same way. So when Emma, 14, started dating 16-year-old Riley, nobody thought much of it. A cheerleader and a football player at the same school, it felt ordinary. At first, there were no obvious warning signs. But controlling relationships rarely start with something obvious. Little by little, Riley became possessive. Friends and family noticed how closely he monitored Emma. He cared who she talked to, what she wore, where she went, and who she spent time with. Certain friendships bothered him, and he made sure she knew it. Emma's parents grew concerned. Eventually, they told her she wasn't allowed to see him anymore and banned him from their home. But relationships like that are complicated. Emma kept seeing him. After graduating, Riley moved to Maryville College, about 16 miles away, where he joined the football team as a wide receiver. Technically, the relationship became long distance. But distance only intensified the fixation. By the fall of 2016, Emma finally realized she needed to leave for good. She had tried before, but Riley's reactions always made walking away difficult. This time was different. Her friends later said Emma made it clear she was completely done. Her family believed it too. What Emma didn't realize was that someone who spent years trying to control her might never accept losing that control. Around the same time, Riley had been kicked off the football team. Suddenly, he had no routine, no distractions, and too much time to obsess over someone who had already moved on. And that obsession quickly turned frightening. Emma blocked Riley's number, but he found ways around it using anonymous phone apps that generated fake numbers. The texts kept coming, except now they came from strangers with no names attached. Then things escalated even further. One night, Emma received a frantic message claiming Riley had been kidnapped nearby. Panicked, she went outside with her friend Zach Green. Under a streetlight, they found Riley lying face down in a ditch. He acted confused, claiming he didn't know how he got there or what had happened. But Emma wasn't convinced. She had already ended things. Yet somehow, Riley kept appearing exactly where she was. Then neighbors started noticing someone dressed entirely in black walking around the Walker neighborhood late at night. Surveillance cameras captured glimpses of the figure moving silently through the darkness. Emma was terrified. When she told Riley about the mysterious person, he denied knowing anything. At times, he even acted protective, pretending to comfort her. But later, witnesses connected the figure in black to places Riley was known to park nearby. The truth was horrifying. Emma was being stalked by the same person pretending to protect her from a stalker. Her parents tried getting help, but there wasn't enough evidence for authorities to act. Then came the night of November 21st, 2016. Around 3 a.m., Riley Gall stood outside the Walker family home carrying a 9mm Glock he had stolen for his grandfather. He knew the layout of the house. He had been there many times before. He knew exactly where Emma's bedroom was, and he fired 2 shots directly through the wall. One bullet struck 16-year-old Emma Walker behind her left ear while she slept. The other lodged in her pillow. She never woke up. The next morning, Emma's family realized something was wrong when she didn't come out of her room. At first, they feared she had become sick during the night. Then they touched her foot. It was cold. Paramedics arrived quickly, followed by detectives. It didn't take long for investigators to realize Emma Walker had been murdered in her own bed. And almost immediately, one name kept coming up. Riley Gall. Friends, family, classmates, everyone pointed detectives toward him. Then one of Riley's closest friends, Alex McCarty, revealed something critical. Riley had stolen a handgun from his grandfather just days before Emma's death. When detectives questioned Riley, he denied knowing anything about the weapon. But then he made things worse. He began texting friends, begging them not to talk to police about the gun. By that point, even his own friends were starting to suspect him. So investigators launched a sting operation. Alex McCarty and another friend, Noah Walton, secretly agreed to wear recording devices while meeting Riley. Hidden microphones captured everything. Riley told them he needed help getting rid of the gun. "I need to dump the gun at the bluff. I'm throwing it into the river. They'll never find it." That night, they drove with him to the River Bluff Wildlife Area overlooking the Tennessee River. But before Riley could throw the gun away, police moved in and arrested him. The gun was still in his possession. Investigators also recovered black clothing and gloves matching the outfit witnesses had seen outside Emma's home. Everything was starting to connect. In January 2017, Riley Gall was indicted on multiple charges, including first-degree murder, stalking, tamper with evidence, and possession of a firearm during a dangerous felony. Yet despite the charges, his family posted $1 million bail, allowing him to await trial outside jail. When prosecutors examined the timeline leading to Emma's death, the pattern became impossible to ignore. First, Riley bypassed being blocked. Then he staged fake emergencies to force Emma into seeing him. Then he stalked her neighborhood at night. Then he stole a gun. And finally, he fired 2 bullets into the bedroom where he knew she would be sleeping. Afterward, he tried to destroy the evidence. At trial, the defense admitted Riley fired the shots, but they argued he never intended to kill Emma, claiming he only wanted to scare her. Prosecutors disagreed. Riley knew the house. He knew the room. He knew where Emma slept. And 1 bullet struck her behind the ear while she lay in bed. The jury listened to heartbreaking testimony from Emma's parents and friends. They watched footage from the undercover sting operation and heard Riley's own recorded words about throwing a gun into the river. Then the jury reached its verdict. Guilty, first-degree murder, felony murder, stalking, tampering with evidence. Riley Gall was sentenced to life in prison, with additional years added for the remaining charges. At sentencing, he apologized and claimed the shooting had been an accident. Emma's mother didn't believe him. She said Riley knew exactly what he was doing because he had spent time inside their home and knew precisely where Emma slept. Years later, Appeals courts upheld the conviction. Today, Riley Gall remains incarcerated in Tennessee. Emma Walker never got the future she dreamed about. She never became a neonatal nurse she hoped to be, but her memory still lives on. A dog park in Knoxville was renamed the Emma Jane Walker Memorial Dog Park in her honor. East Tennessee Children's Hospital dedicated a NICU room to her memory, the same kind of place she once dreamed of working. And at Central High School, students created a scholarship in her name for those pursuing careers in healthcare. Emma Walker was only 16 years old. She had plans, dreams, and an entire life still ahead of her, and she never got the chance to live it.